Welcome back, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. God, it's always right when I start filming. Hello?
Hey, who's this?
Your mom. Okay. Well, oh my God. What?
Wanna play a game?
No, I don't. Welcome back. Oh, Jesus Christ. I swear to God, if you don't stop calling me that, I'm gonna gut you like a fish.
That's what I say, man.
I'm trying to review your movie, jackass.
Oh, well, what did you think?
Well, Scream 2022 is the new remake, reboot. In the movie, they say requel, so that's what we'll go with. A reboot sequel is the new requel that we've gotten of a popular slasher franchise in the same vein of the Halloween movies that we're getting now, the Texas Chainsaw movie we're about to get in like a couple of weeks, and actually what we also got with the Leprechaun franchise. Hit the like if you knew about that one. In this one, a new group of teenagers are being hunted down by Ghostface again, and the original trio of Dewey, Gale, and Sydney team up to put Ghostface down again. Kinda. This was a movie that I was super excited for. A lot of people were. But I was also very concerned. Like, yes, the original writer did come back to write this one. That was a green flag. And really the only red flag for me right off the jump was wondering what they were going to do. Because every Scream movie, like, takes on certain things about slashers, right? The first one was how to survive a slasher. The second one was how to survive a slasher sequel. Third one was how to round out a trilogy for a slasher. And the fourth one was how to do remakes. So, but I guess this one gets by on a technicality because it's not a remake, it's a requel. But what did I actually think about the movie? Starting off with the positives, I'll start off with what I usually start off with, and that is the performances. I will say there are some very strong performances in this movie. Melissa Barrera plays Sam. She's like the final girl of the movie. You know, she's the lead. She's the main character. And she does a really fine job. There is something really interesting that they do in this movie in regards to her. No spoilers, of course. And it bears a lot of weight on her throughout the whole thing. And she plays that really well. She also has some great chemistry with her sister, played by Jenna Ortega. Her name is Tara. And she is phenomenal. Jenna Ortega is kind of killing it right now. She did great in this. She just had Fallout come out, which I watched, and it was incredible. There's one scene in particular where Tara and Sam are having this conversation about the thing that is weighing on Sam through the whole movie, and it is a really well written, directed, and acted scene all around. Tara is actually the character that we see in the trailers. This isn't a spoiler. It's literally what the first trailer was. The opening scene. Scream always starts with this opening kill. Well, that's Jenna. This is the first Scream movie where that opening scene does not end with a kill. She's in the rest of the movie. And so she's injured through the whole thing, so she gives some really good physical performance as well as emotional due to the injuries that she sustains in the opening scene. Some of which just literally made my skin crawl in the movie theater. I was cringing so hard because like I believed that this little girl was in a lot of pain. Another great performance was David Arquette, Dewey. I love Dewey. Dewey, I think, is probably the character that has had the most of a character arc through all of the movies. Because if you watch Dewey in the first Scream and Dewey in this Scream, polar opposite characters. Completely opposite characters. And it's just really great to watch him in this one because you can tell he's putting his whole heart into this, unlike some other characters. You can just tell that David Arquette truly, really still loves this franchise, and it was seeing his performance. It just made me happy to see Dewey. I love Dewey. Another positive is the kills. The kills in this movie are so good. But, Ghostface, like, he just uses a knife. He uses a knife, and that's it. So a lot of the kills are just stabby stabs. But even just the stabby stabs, they are so brutal and so just visceral that it was exciting, even though we've seen the stabby stabs so many times. Now, before we get to the negatives, there's one thing in particular. It kind of bothers me, but not so much that I would consider it like a knock against the movie or anything, but I still want to talk about it. And that would be, there's a lot of references to the first movie. A lot. So much so that they honestly basically ignore the other three, aside from one returning character. Aside from that character, there is nothing about the rest of them. Because requel. Since they talk about the first one so much, there's a lot of talk of Billy Loomis. Billy Loomis gets brought up a lot. Billy Loomis did this. Billy Loomis killed all these people. Billy Loomis is a psychopath. Da-da-da-da-da. And I feel like they just kind of discredit Stu Macher through the whole movie. Sam's boyfriend, who is throughout the movie, asks who Stu Macher is, and Dewey says something like, oh, he was Billy's accomplice. He was just some Looney Tune. That's a little rude. Stu is basically forgotten about so much that there's this random character that gets killed, and later in the movie, someone makes an offhanded comment about how that person was related to Stu, and then they move on. It made no difference to the plot, to the scene, to the kill, didn't bear any weight, nothing. Sure, Billy was like the leader. It was his idea. He planned everything. But Scream 3 did retcon that, but fuck that movie. Stu was there the whole time. He killed people too. The climax takes place at his house. Like, Stu's house even is a factor in this. It's no secret. In the trailer, we see they go back to Stu's house. Stu Macher's house. And in this movie, when, like, they realize that the climax of everything is going to be taking place in Stu's house, they say this is the house where Billy killed all those people.
Bruh.
First, Billy did not kill all the people. There's even whole videos on YouTube, whole discussions where people are like breaking down which character is being killed by Stu and Billy. And if memory serves, aside from Billy and Stu, only one person dies in that house. It's the garage door scene. That's the only person that dies in that house. And the fact that it's the writer of the first movie that wrote that line, that Billy killed all these people in this house, is baffling to me. Because he should know that that is not the case. But anyway, I'm getting myself worked up on things that I'm not even considering negatives to the movie. So moving on to the negatives, one that is so annoying is that one of the biggest, to me, things about the Scream movies is that it is a group of young people, a group of friends, typically, that are all getting killed off by Ghostface. The core of the movie is this group of young people, and you have the whodunit of which of these young people is the killer. The group of young people in this movie are barely in it, to the point that I don't give a shit about them. And if you're springboarding yourself off of that first movie specifically, which had a group of people that are likable, are funny, are relatable, and then you give us this movie where this group of people are just barely there, barely likable. It's just now I will give myself this. I could potentially be looking at that original movie with rose tinted glasses. I could be looking at this group of characters and liking them much more than they deserve to be liked simply because the original film is the original film. But I don't think so. Because Scream is still considered an absolute classic. People call it like their favorite horror movie. It is the movie that basically revitalized the entire genre. So I don't think I'm looking at it with my glasses too rose tinted. And I just think it's odd that they would follow that up with this barely there cast of people. Like, there's a reason I really only talk about the two sisters giving good performances, because the rest of them, I don't have anything to really base their performance on. Another negative would really be, how do I put this in a non-spoilery manner? When you find out who Ghostface is, there's a lot of overacting that's going on. Now, you could say, Brandon, you just got done talking about Stu Macher. Matthew Lillard is chewing the scenery up like bubble gum in that original movie. Yeah. But it doesn't work here. Stu Macher is kind of a cartoon character through the whole movie, right? Who we find out Ghostface is in this one is not that. They only start acting like a cartoon character and chewing up scenery once they get revealed as Ghostface. In the original one, it made sense that Stu was acting like a cartoon character because he was through the whole movie. In this one, it's like whiplash. They're basically playing two different characters, and it doesn't work. The juxtaposition there just doesn't work. And the biggest fault of this movie is Sydney and Gale. Now, my problem with them really isn't that they're barely in the movie. I get it. You want to focus on these new characters. I understand that. Despite the fact that the marketing kind of showed Sydney and Gale at the front and center, I can forgive that. I can, because it's the requel rules. You know, the new cast of characters bring in the old cast of characters. My problem with Sydney and Gale, as well as Neve Campbell and Courtney Cox, is that they just don't look like they want to be there. And I don't mean in the way that, Sydney and Gale are like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening again. I don't want to do this. Sydney has a family now, so of course she wouldn't want to do this. That's not how I mean. I mean, specifically Courtney Cox, might I add. They just kind of seem like they were offered $100 to show up in the movie. They showed up, they read their lines, they went home. Like, Courtney Cox just looks bored almost every time she's on screen. They also do the dumb thing that all Scream sequels do, where between movies, Gale and Dewey break up. They do it again. This is the fourth time they've done it. It's gotten to the point where I don't care anymore. Like, I don't care about it anymore. But going back to the two of them, they really just seem like extended cameos. Like, Dewey actually offers something to the plot. He is working with the characters. He is doing things. Sydney and Gale, they just kind of show up. Gale is incapacitated right as soon as they get to the climax. Sydney walks in, and then she's not even the one to, like, really do anything. And, like, I understand they don't want Sydney to be the hero of the story, because this is Sam's story. It's not Sydney's. But, like, if you're going to bring back the final girl of the franchise, make her do something. At least the new Halloween movies got that right. Well, Halloween Kills didn't. the first one did. So yeah, overall, Scream 2022 had 3 really great performances, some great kills, some stuff that just really didn't make sense for the franchise, like where it stands, and then just absolutely wasting 2 of the franchise mainstays, characters that I just don't give a shit about. And overall, I had a decent time at the theater with Scream 2022, but after I thought about it at all, once I set foot out of the theater, it all kind of started to fall apart for me. So I will say that Scream 2022 gets a C+. Have you seen Scream 2022 yet? If you have, let me know down in the comments what you thought about it. Or, what is your favorite horror remake? We're not gonna limit it to requels, we'll just say remakes. Whatever that is, let me know that as well. Go ahead and check out my social media. The links to all of that will be down in the description. That's where you can see why I have a video sitting in unlisted right now with a copyright claim. But before you do anything, go ahead and hit the like and the subscribe so that I can see you guys next time.